just learned a really troubling update regarding Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Looks like she is set to miss the rest of the season, including a potential playoff appearance. This is due to an injury. She also suffered a bone bruise later during recovery. And so her full statement here you can see on X, quote, "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season." She herself announced this news on social media just moments ago. She posted a pretty lengthy post on X talking about it, but essentially she hasn't played since she injured her right groin in the final minute of the Fever's July 15th win at Connecticut.
Caitlin Clark's injury didn't just end her season. It may have just exposed the biggest flaw in the WNBA's entire system. Fans aren't just upset she's gone. They're asking how a league that built its marketing around one player could let her take so many hits without protection from referees. And now, a fan boycott is gaining steam. The question isn't just what went wrong with Clark's health, it's how deep the problems go within the league itself. Stay with me, because this isn't just about one injury. It's about trust being broken everywhere.
I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. She goes on to say, "I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating. And now it is time to close out the season and claim our spot in the playoffs." We know that she's had 3 different muscle injuries that have forced her to miss. Even in the bad, there is good. The way the fans continued to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I am so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
A lot of shady business, a lot of gray area going around this whole entire Caitlin Clark out for the season. Indiana Fever not allowing her back. Indiana Fever benching her.
Large portion of this season, she was in 13 games. She averaged 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, 5 rebounds per game. But really just disappointing news, and you can sense her disappointment here as she had to make this tough announcement today.
Having conversation with her and collaborating, and we knew that that West Coast road trip was going to be a big one to see where we could get and how far we could get. And I think at the end of the day, she's been working her butt off to be able to get back.
It wasn't one hit, one game, or one bad landing. Clark's whole season looks like a slow-motion breakdown that everyone saw, but no one stopped. From the outside, it seemed like the buildup was invisible. In reality, people were watching it unfold and just kept acting like nothing was happening. When that first quad strain was reported back in May, most people brushed it off. The storyline was simple. It's early in the season. She's adjusting to the professional level. It's normal to be sore. Nobody thought that a nagging leg issue in May could eventually spiral into something that would knock her out completely. But if you go back and look, that was the start of the pattern. You could see her wincing when she pushed off on drives, adjusting her movement, even if she still hit shots. The problem is those little adjustments pile up. A sore quad meant she shifted her balance differently. A different stride rhythm put more pressure on her hips and knees. Soon after, she was reported to have groin discomfort.
The issue with this, let's just stop it right there. The issue with this is that Stephanie White, the schedule has been the schedule for a long time. The schedule has been the schedule since the release of the schedules.
And we've kind of run out of time to be able to do it in a safe way, in a safe manner. And, you know, I think we've all been very open and upfront with.
Have left. At a month ago, I was making videos saying, based on the schedule, Caitlin Clark's not going to have enough practices left to return.
That didn't sound shocking on paper, just another tightness or soreness label, but anybody actually watching the games could see she wasn't bursting up the court like before. Instead of pulling her back fully, they doubled down on the day-to-day language. It almost became a catch-all excuse. Day-to-day sounds minor, right? It makes it feel like she's right around the corner from being fine. But if you looked at her body language, she was moving stiff, grabbing her leg after checks, clearly not planting the same way. And yet there she was, game after game, being rushed back onto the court. Fever's medical staff kept saying her minutes were being managed.
And based on the schedule, multiple practices was not an actual option prior to her return. Based on how the schedule, you have a day off, you play, you have a day off, you play, you have a day off, you play, you have 2 days off, you play, 2 days off, practice, play. Holly Rose said it during a broadcast on an ESPN game that they want Caitlin Clark to participate in multiple practices prior to returning.
But these precautionary re-entries ended up being anything but. You'd watch her sit for a few plays, come back in, then limp the next time she tried to cut through traffic. Those weren't preventative measures, those were short-term band-aids. Add in the team's desperate need to keep her on the floor, and it's obvious why every return carried more weight than it should have. When a player's not fully recovered, those little re-entries aren't reintroductions, they're gambles. Coaches had their role in this too. Everyone knows Clark wasn't just another rookie, she was the box office ticket. Packed arenas, million-dollar TV ratings bumps, whole WNBA spotlight was on her. So when it came to deciding whether she'd rest or play, the answer always seemed slanted. Did they really have a choice when the business side was screaming for her presence? It's hard to ignore that pressure. Stadiums were filling for one reason, and it wasn't just the Indiana Fever logo. Keeping her on the sideline didn't just feel like lost points on the scoreboard, it felt like lost revenue. At the same time, fans aren't stupid. They started noticing the gap between what they were being told and what their eyes were showing them. Every press release called her ready, or at least questionable, but then you'd watch her barely get around a screen. People online became more vocal. Was she really healthy? Was the team sugarcoating it to keep the momentum alive? You could see the frustration boiling up. Not just because she wasn't dominating, but because it felt like the audience was deliberately being strung along. It's one thing to lose games, it's another to feel lied to about the state of the player driving the ticket surge. And the worst part was knowing that every single re-entry was stacking risk on top of risk. Instead of hitting pause for a few weeks and letting her truly heal, they kept fast-forwarding her timeline. That's how a quad strain snowballs into a bone bruise, how groin tightness becomes an ongoing limp, and how a season winds up cut short. It wasn't sudden, it was a chain reaction, piece by piece, building until something had to give. This injury wasn't just bad luck, it was a preventable collapse. A mix of medical conservatism on paper, risky decisions in practice, and a business machine unwilling to slow down, even when the warning lights were blinking. In the end, Clark's season wasn't lost to one hard foul. It was lost because the system never gave her the room to truly heal. And that sets up an even bigger discussion, because it wasn't only her body that the league failed to protect. It was her safety on the court itself, against players who saw every opportunity to test her limits without consequence. Caitlin Clark's injury isn't just about one player being sidelined. It points to a bigger question. How serious is the WNBA about protecting the same stars it uses to push ticket sales and headline every broadcast? If the league can't keep its top rookie safe while also building its entire brand around her image, what message does that send to fans? Why should people believe the system will suddenly change for anyone else? Boycott isn't about empty seats. It's about trust already slipping away. And the demand for real accountability before that, trust disappears completely.